Alright, hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, to the channel. My name is Brosek, and this is McRaeathon for 2025. First of all, though, I'd like to give a little thank you to NSG, who have been supporting this marathon. Besides providing us with their channel for streaming, they are sharing technical assistance and their donation service with us, which helps with a much smoother running of our events. Be sure to check out NSG's next event, NSG Fall 2025, from September 19th to 21st of this year. It is an absolutely fantastic event, and they have helped us so much here and in the past, so do go and give them a shout out. And say hi to Nordic, because he owes me. Alright, with that, we're going to get right into our next run here. That is, of course, Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge, being brought to us by Howling Mad Mike. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, thank you for that introduction. And yes, I am Howling Mad Mike. Welcome to the continuation of McRaeathon 2025. We are going to be playing some Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. It's a spree, by the way, Pro, so not a sprit, but I'll let you off. You're a much younger man than I am to not know the car. This is a very, very classic game for the home computer era. You've probably seen myself and Tiny Tim play this at some McRaeathon in the past, or maybe at UKSG, or maybe something else. It's a great game. Upping the challenge slightly, typically when you would do this game in an event, you would typically only run it at easy difficulty. I'm going for medium. Medium actually has a very legitimate possibility of failure. This is not a safe run, not down to execution. It's typically just the RNG factors. There are enemy cars in this game. I do not call them opponents. They are very much enemies in this game that will get in your way. So, and if they troll you, it can be pretty miserable. So hopefully the ideal situation here is we're going to do all 10 races. In easy, you only do 7. In medium, you do 10. The difficulty of the tracks is harder because there are obstacles, things that slow you down. But other than that, it's pretty much the same as easy. It's just slightly more difficult, hence easy, medium, and hard. Why don't we run hard? Nobody runs hard because hard really is hard. Maybe at some event in the future, but even myself and Tim have always, Tiny Tim 78, for those of you who don't know, have always steered away from that. But I am already going to start this by giving a slight warning. This game has the capability to get some colourful language out of me. I'm going to do my best to behave. I'm already slapping a £10 donation that I will pay at the end of this, but I've already said to ProSec that they're welcome to leap in during the run with any questions and anything chat has to ask. It's open mic time. Distracting me is a good thing if you want to see bad things happen, so please feel free to jump in with any questions or anything. And of course, if you want to donate, you have all the information in the description. Please do donate. It is a wonderful cause we're raising money for here. But unless you have anything you want to say, ProSec, I think we're ready to go.
All I want to say is you aren't ready for the level of shenanigans. No, I'll be good, I promise.
You're well. For every slight, I should say, I don't know if I've said this, but for every slight colourful word that leaves my mouth, I will donate an extra £1. So I'm already starting at a default 10. Let's hope that stays there. But maybe not for charity, but I'll try and behave myself. Oh, and we're playing this on the Atari ST. Most of you know this on the Amiga, but we're playing the ST version today, and the ST's music for this game is garbage. So let's just enjoy it for a second. Yep, so that's awful. Right, so let's get into this. Yes, we do have actual load times on here. I am playing this on emulation. I do actually have several Atari STs, but right, player name. I can't set it to McRaeathon because I have my my C key map to fire. We are doing computerized gears because to play this with manual gearing is just asking for trouble. Right, Bracer, you have a choice. What soundtrack would you like? You can pick from 1 to 4.
Ooh, let's go for a spicy 3.
Spicy 3. Music in this game actually makes it... I typically, when I run this, I tend to have no music at all because the music channel is shared with the same music channel that tells you when your fuel is getting low. So I'm going to have to, with music, I have to pay slightly extra attention that I don't run out of fuel. But if you're ready on timer, we will go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So we start off in Finland. We have Nelson Pickett's, a common theme you'll see throughout this game, actual F1 drivers referenced. And isn't this already just glorious? We have what is, I suspect, about 10 frames per second. But one of the biggest downsides is that car, here we have enemy car positioning being difficult, is it's not strictly speaking that you don't have, it's even, because a lot of games of this era you can either have music or sound effects. That isn't the case with this. It's just a case of that the music is so relatively complex that there just aren't enough sound channels left for sound effects. Oh, and the enemy RNG is being a bit nasty here. Usually I would like to be in around second or third place by the end of the third lap. But as long as I finish all the races in the top 10, it's not a failure. As long as you finish top 10, you're still good. Ideally, though, I will finish in first place in every single race. One key thing of the medium difficulty is you do have to actually brake and take cornering a little seriously. There are some corners that if you take at full speed, you will just pile off. And we're in first place, and as with a lot of the Lotus maps... ooh, crikey. So a bit of a tight squeeze there. Yeah, oh, sorry, as well as swearing, you will occasionally hear me make peculiar noises as well. Don't worry about them, they're fine. I'm doing perfectly fine, I'm just... Oh, come on, you. Okay, he was doing about 60 miles an hour, that happens. But we do, once we're in first place, we do begin to lap cars that are kind of like hypothetically like 20th to 10th and whatnot. They're very annoying, particularly if you're trying to get a good time. Invariably, for a really super competitive time on speedrun.com, you just do not want to hit anything. Oh, Pro ASEC, I may actually give you a job, just in case I really make a terrible boob. And boob isn't a swear word, it's part of the body. Could you just keep one eye on my fuel gauge?
I see.
Because I do not have it. Right. Usually, in the significantly inferior Amiga version, you would hear a beep of a low fuel gauge. I will not hear that here. So
alright, so when you're like 10, 20%?
When it's in the red and starts flashing.
Okay, I'll notice.
Right, and here we are at the end of the first race. You want to crash into the flag post because it's just faster. It doesn't start loading the next race until you come to a complete stop, and of course if you tear across it about 150 miles an hour, much longer time. Right, James Horn, not James Hunt. Typically on the first track you don't need to refuel unless you do something very, very unusual. But from this point on I will need to stop and refuel on every track. And it's usually as well in terms of how well you're going to do. The first kind of 30 seconds, how well you can negotiate the backpack. Because if you finish first, what's that expression? He who is first shall come last, or something like that, in terms of qualifying for the next race. Yeah. He was on the inside line and I had to try and go on the outside, and overtaking on the outside is typically never fun. So that spoiled what was quite a nice first lap, but it's fine. Oh, right, it's fine. It's all good. Oh, no. I'm watching my tongue. I'm pretending like I'm really... Well, but yeah, the enemy cars in this game are just absolutely horrible. There have been some times where I've ran this where I've been 30 seconds ahead of PB, and then like finishing one race and falling 40, 50 seconds behind just because of RNG of the other races. Yeah, and annoyingly, with the no sound, I don't even hear when the tyres are, like, squealing. So, yeah. But I thought it would just be extra boring if we had no music. Oh, and by the way, that music the ProAsec definitely picked. I had no choice in that selection. Yeah, we've got this for the entirety of the game, so enjoy.
I regret nothing.
It's one of the only real criticisms people who play this game have, that it would have made far more sense if it would have cycled the soundtracks, but you don't. You just pick one track and you get it for the entirety of the game, which medium difficulty takes about 35 to 40 minutes, so not too bad, but hard is about an hour and a half, and an hour and a half of this on constant loop. As I said, there's a reason why not many people actually play this on hard. Right, I will need to stop and refuel here. It's in terms of... Sorry, carry on.
I am watching on a minor delay, so I'm having to anticipate when to beep at you. I have done it sometimes. I just do get too distracted to actually remember that you need to fuel in this game. But I will do my level best. It's slightly aggravating that there's one race in this difficulty where you don't refuel on pretty much every track on this difficulty. You only have to refuel on the penultimate lap, but there's one exception to that. But here we are, end of race 2. Again, I crashed into the signpost because it's faster. And race 3, we're off to Greenland, Crash Hard Banger. That might be some kind of parody of Gerhard Berger, I think. Oh, okay, I just got past him, that's fine. He was squeezing me off the track, and that's one of the most annoying things that AI does in this game. Right, here we have one of the first instances of actual, like, difficult cornering. The first 3 corners are exceptionally tight, and if you take them at full speed, you will just crash. So you do actually, this is probably the first track where you have to engage in some actual legitimate cornering and braking. And here we have some oil. This can get very, very, very annoying when it comes to the other cars. Ideally, you do not want any cars in your way, because if you don't, you can just fly through that at full tilt. There we go. You see there, it's perfectly kissing the apexes. But yeah, if there is something in front of you on that bend with the oil, you've just got to slow down. And sometimes the enemy cars will go as slow as about 60, 70 miles an hour, so it can be very, very, very annoying. You know, considering I'm flying along at about 160, so yeah, you're slowing down about 100 miles an hour and just waiting for them to get out of your way. There is one quirk of medium difficulty, though, that when you get to about race 7, it seems to massively ramp up the speed of your opponents. Up until that point, they're relatively slow. Just gonna, speaking of slow, this is an example perfect example of what I was saying. I've got 2 cars in front of me. They're doing about 100, which isn't terrible, but they've slowed me down there. So, but otherwise, so far, Greenland, which isn't green in the slightest, is going very well. I'll just keep having to give myself a mental note. I know I've got ProAsec on my fuel gauge, but I'm just keeping tabs on it. Because there are some unusual elements in the game. There are a handful of tracks where, for reasons we are still yet to determine in this game, you do not have to stop to refuel. It's very close. A lot of the time you actually physically pass the line with an out of fuel, like, warning. Oh, and if you run out of fuel, by the way, it's completely game over. It's a one and done. If I don't finish in the top 10 or run out of fuel, it's game over and that's it. But this is where ProAsec should start beeping at me. Oh, he's going slow. So we're going to pull into the pits here. Little nasty because they're right on a bend. And that's even worse on the last track because they're not just on a bend, but they're also got barriers in the way as well. So
It tends to, in regards to the oil slicks as well, it does tend to sort of rotate obstacles. You will tend to have a track with obstacles, and then you will have a track with just tight corners or high speed. So it does at least tend to try and mix things up, so you can keep them in your mind. We'll crash into the barrier once again, creep across the line. It's just fast. And we're on to race 4, which is Uruguay. Starling Mess, Sterling Moss. Just going to drink some tap water. Don't worry, tap water in the West Midlands is definitely brown. But this is just a track with... there's no obstacles here, that I recall at least. So it's just good driving necessary for this one. So, ProAsec, if you have anything you would like to say, please take as long as you want, really.
Alright, well, in which case I've got here the entirety of Atlas Shrugged. No, I'll instead tell you about our wonderful charity. Get Well Gamers is a charitable organisation that aims to bring video game consoles and games to sick children in hospitals. The charity was founded in 2001 by Ryan Sharp, who was hospitalised as a child and found that playing Donkey Kong Jr. and Zaxxon had been beneficial to his recovery, as I'm sure it would to anyone's. In 2005, the charity was officially recognised in the United States as a 501c charitable organisation. By October 2006, the organisation had expanded to cover over 40 hospitals in more than 20 states. The charity accepts donations of video game systems and games from 1989 and later from both individuals and companies. Since its founding, the group has received support from various other gaming-related organisations, such as the International Game Developers Association and NVIDIA. So they really are quite well positioned to lend this absolutely vital quality of life care to so many people who need it. So thank you very much to everyone who has donated so far to such a fantastic cause.
Excellent, excellent, thank you. And yes, just touching on a point that was said there as well. If you are unable to donate to this event or to them directly, either is cool. I mean, if you could donate via us, that'd be pretty sweet. But if you cannot donate, they do accept donations of video games that you may not play anymore or consoles. They do have their website that basically lists what they accept. I've actually donated some old games there myself, and I think, as I recall, they cover your postage. All you've literally just got to do is put in a box and send it off to them. I'm actually going to refuel her. I may not have needed to, but it makes me more comfortable. But yeah, if you can't actually donate...
I didn't get to say beep.
Oh, sorry. Say beep.
Beep.
But if you can't donate with money, if you have... Because, yeah, if you're a gamer, you are bound to have a box or a cupboard or a drawer full of crud that you don't play anymore. Consider donating it to them. As I said, they cover your shipping costs. You literally just go on their website, they have a little form you can fill out, tell them what you've got. They'll tell you what they would like. You post it off, and all going well, some poorly child who's having a bad time in hospital or whatever will be able to have a bit of fun. Expertly crashing every lap here. I heard the beep, thank you.
I did notice in there that they accept any games past 1989, so just in time for this one.
Yes. Funny enough, though, they have, would you believe, enough Wii Fit balance boards. So please don't send them any of them. Okay, right, tight start there as a few of the cars were kind of trying to crash me off. Another tight S-bend here. Oh, and that's probably the most annoying aspect. It's when a car matches your speed and then just gives you a little side swipe. All penalty to you, none to them, and they can clip through. Oh, by the way, enemy cars you have collision with them, they don't with you. That if they clip, they can clip into you from behind, and if they do, they just completely decimate your health speed. So yeah, just avoid opposition racers as absolutely best you can. But it's very annoying when they are speed matching you, which they can do for reasons. I actually got a bit confuddled as well, for anyone who was paying attention. The last track had obstacles on it, so this one doesn't. This is just a straight up... It's quite nice from the point of view that the obstacle tracks can be very, very stressful, particularly if you're not doing very well in terms of position. So to occasionally just have a track that's just pure execution and, like, shall we say 70% execution and 30% luck instead of a 50-50 is quite nice. I'm trying to think. This is one of those as well, if you're paying attention to my laps and my fuel meter, this is one of those tracks where, again, for reasons we have never truly figured out, you do not have to always refuel. It's very, very, very risky, though. I was playing this with Tiny Tim a couple of UKSGs ago. We were having a straight race of the game. And he actually even tried, it was a very, very gutsy manoeuvre, but he actually tried to avoid refueling. He didn't make it, unfortunately, so it kind of ended the race, but it's an insanely gutsy manoeuvre if you're not going to stop to refuel. It pays off, because it saves you it's about a 20-second time save if you don't have to stop for fuel. Because you have to, it's not just the time it takes for you to get to 0, so you can actually technically pit, but it's also obviously accelerating back to top speed again. So it was an incredibly gutsy manoeuvre. It didn't pay off for him, but if you want the best times in this game from a speedrunning strat, you kind of just need to get a bit lucky. Thank you for the beep. It's only actually race 9 on medium where you, as I said, that you don't... I refuel on every penultimate lap, but at race 9 I have to do it on about lap... It's about lap 4 or 5, because it's quite a long one, race 9. It's about 10 laps, and you have to refuel on lap 6 or something, so... that's the only slightly tricky one, because you've got to guess I forgot to hit the post, but it's fine. Have a bit more of me tap water. It's definitely tap water. Right, we're off to Germany. Stag Bloomvest. I don't actually know who that's supposed to be. If anyone knows in chat, help me out. It wouldn't be any kind of F1 driver from the 90s, because this game's way, way too bad. I don't even think Michael Schumacher was in F1 in '89, but maybe I'm wrong. It would have been very, very early. Right, here we have water. Water isn't a massive problem, but it does slow you down. The good news is that it's one of the few things that actually affects the enemy drivers as well. So if you can dodge it, which I'm not doing a very good job of here, you can move up the listings pretty quick here. Oil is scary, because oil can send you flying off to the opposite side of the track. But water's not too bad. Yeah, that was never going to end well. But I will get past it. And that's got me in a bad position. I was hoping I could have ducked back in. But to be honest, actually, that was a really good first lap. To be anywhere near the top 5. I swear that puddle actually moved to get in my way there, but... be anywhere near the top 5 after the first lap is always awesome. And really, from a marathon point of view, if you just being comfortably within the top 10 is always nice. I do like to try and get all first places, because it's it obviously just shows that you've played the game as reasonably well as you could. I do not recommend this as a speedrunning game, though. By the way, it's very, very frustrating, and I've been doing very well on my swear jar at the moment. I don't think I've got one so far, which is good.
My tallying pen hasn't even... my tallying pen's lying there with nothing to do, honestly.
There's been a few... So if I wasn't in first place there, if I was like in 12th trying to get into the top 10, I might have had a few things to say there. But I do recommend this game wholeheartedly for the casual. If I'm being really, really, really honest, don't tell Tim I said this, but I would probably recommend the Amiga version over the ST. ST emulation is a lot easier. Amiga emulation is an absolute pain in the backside to get working properly. ST emulation just works. But the Amiga version, it has a slightly higher frame rate and slightly nicer music, but that still doesn't mean that it's a better version. The ST version is infinitely better, And although I don't want to distract any attention away from the good things we're doing here at McRaeathon, myself and TinyTim78 will be racing this game later this month at UKSG. That's May 22nd to the 26th, I think. It's 4 days, or it might be the 18th to the 22nd. I can't remember off the top of my head. I was in Devon this morning, so I've had a long drive just to get home to play this. But he's going to be playing the Amiga version. Oh, so just stay on the, don't avoid the barriers there. He's going to be playing the Amiga version, I'm going to be playing the Atari ST version, and we're going to finally settle once and for all which is the superior system of the two. And I have a major problem here. You didn't beat Pro!
I just did!
I didn't hear you! Okay, fingers crossed.
Talking, you numbnuts.
Fingers crossed, this could be the end of the run. I'm being dead serious as well. Oh my word. This is... Oh, Oh, oh lord, oh lord, oh lord, oh lord, oh lord,
Old.
oh, no, well that's that folks, I'm afraid. You didn't beat loud enough, Pro ASEC. Well.
I put all blame with the man who told me to only beep when it was already flashing.
Right, let me just because we've got a bit of time, let me show you why playing it with music is easier yet not. Let me just, this is with no music. So yeah, unfortunately you'll have to put that down as a DNF, I'm afraid. So if you play with no music, you actually get sound effects, which is nice. Unfortunately, I would love to say that I could have a do-over, but there's just no way that I could do the entire... It is about a 35-45 minute run, so at least it maybe gets us back on schedule a bit better. And you can blame Pro ASEC for not beeping. That's entirely his fault.
I blame the man with the blue hat.
Whatever he's doing by... Yeah, we won't go into that. But let me just show you why if I do play this, I do not play with the music. And it's not just because the music isn't good. Firstly, I'll get the actual sound of the engine, which just sounds glorious. It sounds like a Spectrum crashing. But we also get the squeal of the tyre on the tyre mat, which is always nice. But we're also going to, if we can just indulge me to the end of this race, because in fairness, I think this will get us about back on track. Who's on after me? Digital Duck, is it? If you're watching, Duck, you best get ready. We're going to be throwing over to you a bit sooner than anticipated. But I'm just going to show everyone why playing this with music on is an absolute faff, and more to the point why I think playing it without it would have just been miserable for you watching, because this is already probably getting more than a little tedious than the actual soundtrack. Oh, you. Oh, the enemy RNG has been very, very miserable to me today. Or at least in this race. Ooh. Hello? I hear a beep.
You do indeed. Because you finished 20 minutes under estimate. So is that 10 for the run and 10 for the DNF, or is it still 10?
Is it what?
Is
Ooh,
it
10 just to start,
10
or
for the
10
run
for the
and
DNF?
10 because you had a DNF as well?
I never offered. I had a swear jar. I didn't have an actual incentive for a DNF. But yeah, I'll do 10 for the DNF. It's fine.
I can't resist fight.
Nah, it's, as I said, it is very, very difficult because with the music you just do not hear the fuel, and you're having to concentrate not just on what the enemy cars are doing, but you know what your position is, what the obstacles are doing. And I'm deliberately just kind of trying to creep this along so you can hear what the fuel gauge sounds like. There we go. That's fuel gauge. That's, you do not hear that playing the game normally, so that is why it's an absolute pain. And sometimes to time, if I'd have been paying better attention, I would have got the refuel properly, but I didn't. So, but I will. Yeah, entirely, 100%. He was supposed to be my fuel gauge, and he let me down. Let me down massively. But doesn't matter. At least
my fault that you were yapping along.
Oh well, let's ignore that. I've never heard of the Medway brothers.
Can confirm about your race, by the way, for UKSG. We can also just point out, I think it's an Amiga versus ST race, right?
Oh yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And
What
I will not.
difficulty is that?
Medium.
Whoa.
I will not be. I will not be playing it with the sound. I'm not even going to have like a donation incentive open for the audio choice. Amiga's having the music, so I can just play listening to the actual game instead of just the bleeps and bloops of the. The soundtrack on the Amiga version is immeasurably better. I'm sorry I couldn't finish it there, but it's always the biggest difficulty on the ST version because I'm talking and I'm not necessarily thinking about my fuel. In fact, I should have written a big post-it note right in front of me just saying check fuel. But it happens. I said it happened to Tim during UKSG a couple of years ago, and sometimes the fuel. There are instances where you can actually finish that race without refueling. I was hoping it wasn't far. I only needed maybe another 3 or 4 seconds of top speed to have finished that, but it is what it is, and we're here to raise money for charity, and it can't always go according to plan. But thank you to everyone who did watch. Sorry we didn't quite get that run over the line, but I will make my donation as promised. And yeah, back to fuel gauge. Well, faulty fuel gauge. Roger, play us out, faulty. Play us out, faulty fuel gauge.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike, for that one. Do join us in going to follow him and watching him in that race later this month. In the meantime, though, we have more McRaeathon coming at you. We will be back here in just a few short moments with Digital Duck running the legendary Outrunners. Don't go anywhere and look forward to it.